every government program is 60% fraud. And the Social Security disability, it's actually led to some horrible things to get your kids. If you pay people not to work, they're not going to work.
Right.
The veterans benefits, the Social Security disability, and you have all these parents living off claiming their kids have, what is it, ADHD. But in order to collect all that money, you have to put your kids on psychotropic drugs. So they're drugging their kids.
Dude, she is like, what is she even talking about? It's like she is like a Reddit post, dude. She is like a walking fucking Reddit post where she's like, oh, now she's created this world where there's a bunch of parents with kids that are drugging their kids with mental health medications, psychotropic drugs, so they can get a little bit of Social Security scratch because of ADHD. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? You know, just out there like, oh, next it's going to be like, you know, they're having gangbangs in the basement of a fucking pizzeria and like Lindy Li's going to be like, I saw Biden in there. He was having gay sex, right? Dude.
God, that's terrible. And there was a family up in Boston that were murdered their child with these drugs. They were living 100% on 4 kids whom they claimed disability. And, you know, you give them these horrible drugs.
See, again, okay, she is a gigantic piece of shit. But I do want to pause right here because she's saying that there's one couple in Boston or whatever that had 4 kids on disability that were treating the kids. They killed a kid. Well, let me just tell you this, okay, Ann Coulter, you fucking moron. You don't get rid of all the disability for the millions of families that rely on it. You don't fuck the system over because of one fucking couple in Boston, you fucking jackhole. You know what I mean? Especially when like 70% of the rich fuckers are cheating on their taxes, they're looting, they're stealing, and every corporation's engaging in wage theft. None of that goes punished. But you're like, oh my God, one family does something bad, and now we're going to make sure that tens of millions of kids nationwide suffer because we got to make sure that one family doesn't like loot a couple $1,000s a month. You fucking swine. Like, she is a fucking swine. These people are swines. It is fucking disgusting. The amount of like looting and criminality that happens from the people like up at the top and how all of that just never gets considered. But then they try to find like one example of something down on the bottom and they want to just fucking bury everybody. Yeah, no, yeah, see, I feel you. I feel you. It is like crazy. You're right. It is so hard. They make it so hard to even get. You have to jump through hoops. It is so hard, right? But no, they make it seem like it's just a fucking cash register. But no, that would be the president and his meme coins and his stock ticker and him going to his own private clubs with the, you know, Secret Service detail charging him $100 for a fucking water, right? They would literally like burn the entire house. They'll burn a hospital to the ground and kill all the patients to make sure that one person doesn't get like free health care. You know what I mean? They're so scummy. I
mean, I think we should have charity hospitals and send it back to the states because every government program, you know, they got rid of welfare, sort of work requirements back in '96. And Social Security disability, it's like welfare goes down, Social Security disability goes up. If you're going to pay people not to work, it is always going to be scammed. Elon can't do enough cuts.
I couldn't agree more.
And you know what? I hate my party for not just putting the Doge cuts into this big, beautiful bill.
I think it's a bad look. Hold on. Sorry.
No, you're fine, girl.
Just real quick. I have a question. I'm really curious what you all think. I mean, don't you think it's a bad look for Trump, who's really presented himself as like this right-wing populist, to give these massive corporate tax breaks, massive tax cuts, which benefit the working class a little bit, but disproportionately benefit the rich.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, try to do these cuts to food stamps and Medicaid.
Well, 2 points about that.
I do agree.
The 2 points about that. How do you give tax cuts to people who don't pay taxes? Because let's not forget, 40% of the American people don't even pay income
You mean the
tax. They
race
don't
cut?
pay
It's another
taxes.
welfare payment. It's welfare.
Exactly. And I just want
Dude, they're so dirty, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't think being wealthy, writing off your private jet is welfare, okay? Writing off your health savings accounts because you can afford them is fucking welfare, right? Having a nominal tax rate of like 5% after all of your write-offs and all your tax shelters and moving money to the Virgin Islands is welfare, okay? You know what I mean? Amazon got money back in taxes like a year or two ago. The fucking corporation, bro. Like, come on, what are we talking about? Dude, they're so crazy. Yeah, inheritance tax, absolutely. Being able to pass their family fortunes down with tax-free, right? Here's one. You want to know the biggest kind of welfare? I'm going to give you the biggest welfare. It's the buy, borrow, die, right? Where they literally like keep all their money wrapped up in their investments. They borrow against the value of the investments, taking away borrowable money for people that actually need it. And then the wealthy people just live on borrowed money the whole time. And they never get taxed on any of their shit. Leave it to their kids, basically tax-free, right? It's fucking crazy. All the increased value of their shit. They like have their estates increase in value the entire length of their life, and they're living the whole time on borrowed money. It is socialism / like welfare 24/7 for the rich. And then the non-rich, rugged individualism and, fucking 9-iron to the fucking skull.
to say something. I feel deeply about this issue. I grew up so poor, like painfully poor. When I was a kid, I would count pennies on my bed. And I worked at Wawa for $9 an hour. My family did not take a single penny from anybody.
See, again, dude, there she is. She's like, well, Lindy Li, nobody fucking cares. Okay? Nobody cares about your family because you're also a liar and a grifter. So we know you're fucking lying about this shit too. Because you're lying about Joe Biden. You're lying about your interactions with him. Everything you say is a fucking lie. Okay? You look like a fucking clown. Right? So fuck off about you and so poor. Oh, look at you. Your family's just so much better than everybody else because you were so poor. Oh, right? Now you're such a fucking lying, degenerate piece of shit.
Private or public, we worked our asses off. So I have a very particular attitude towards poverty and individual responsibility to extract yourself from that adversity.
Medicare and Social Security are the only programs that aren't scammed because it's just a matter of your age.
Yeah. Fuck you, Lindy. You fucking swine, dude. Jesus.
I never thought I was going to say this in my career, but it's true. The fiscal hawks are correct in being worried about our debt and deficit. Okay, we spent $1 trillion servicing our debt last year. That's insane. That's insane.
See, here's the deal: is I will go on record and say the debt is a problem. Okay, but here's the fucking deal, man. I'm 55 years old. I have been in debt. Okay, I've been in debt. I filed bankruptcy once after I got done with my drug addiction years. Okay, coming up on 18 years sober. Now, what I would like to say though is everybody knows the only way you get out of debt is to increase your income. The only way you get out of debt is to increase your income. The only way you get out of debt is increase your income. You don't do it by fucking cuts. You cannot cut a budget to get yourself out of debt. It is not fucking possible. Okay? You have to increase your income. And yes, the U.S. economy, the budget, the debt of which, $8 trillion, a record $8 trillion was added under Donald Trump. Now they want to add another $5 trillion for their fucking tax cuts. dude, that shit's going to bankrupt us. And we don't want to bankrupt us, but we have to tax the ever-loving shit out of the wealthy. We got to raise corporate taxes. We got to add some taxes on crypto and add taxes on stock sales, right? People play in the market, let them pay the fucking taxes, okay? You want to play the market, move that shit up and down, which we know they do. We know they buy and sell off shit to move the fucking markets. Make them pay taxes, okay? Make them pay taxes. And big businesses, make them pay taxes. I mean, there's so many things we do, but the reality is we have to increase our income. And we have so much wealth here. We have so much fucking wealth, dude. But there should be billionaire taxes. There should be higher income taxes for the wealthy. I mean, dude, we have people that are controlling billions of dollars that are paying like nothing. And yes, oh my God, that is great. A special tax on loans that use stocks as collateral. Absolutely. Like all the people that are living on loans, make them pay taxes on the money that they are living on because they're living on basically free money, right? I mean, they're paying the lowest interest rates and they're able to just put some of it into the markets and cover the interest that they're paying. Absolutely. That would be amazing. Dude, there are so many ways to get some of that money back.
Just want to go back to pre-COVID spending, and they can't do that.
It looks
were we, all living in poverty, orphans on the street back in 2019?
Right, yeah. It looks good on a 10-year window, but then there's also the 4 years for lobbyists to come in and undo a lot of those back-end cuts as well. And so it's just they need to balance the budget. If they're going to introduce all of these cuts, they need to take down some spending. They need to consummate some of the dodge things as well that they have not consummated yet.
No one's ever landing on the shores of America and going to attack us. We would see them coming from a mile away. Like, come on, man. It's completely unrealistic to be spending all that money. We could save so much money by trimming down that military budget, and we could still be like spending more on the military than everyone else in the whole fucking world. It's ridiculous, the shit we waste money on.
Here's what I'm not understanding. Everybody seems to think it's a bad idea to cut Medicaid, though. Like, I could show you a video of Steve Bannon saying...
I don't think it's a bad idea, actually.
Well,
I think
a lot of
to trim.
big friggin' Republicans are like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So...
Because their constituents rely on Medicaid.
But then
and it'll be politically unpopular.
And by the way, I'm so confused because I didn't find it. Where's the cut part? The only thing I see is
it's
you have to
work
work.
requirements.
How is that a cut?
Right.
I don't get it.
Right.
Where's the
Basically,
cut?
if it's
they're
not paid,
hoping.
right.
Am I a moron?
Well, they're hoping this is how they see it as a cut. Basically, some people are going to have difficulty, proving that they're working or logging on to whatever system they set up.
So that's the cut?
It's
a hypothetical cut?
That people are just going to have a difficult time.
I suppose the
following
idea is, and this did kind of work with welfare reform, to be fair to welfare reform. The reason you want people to work isn't just because you want to save money for the government. It's for dignity and showing the next
For dignity, please. Dude, see, this whole working and dignity shit is bullshit. Because it depends on the job, okay? Because I've worked a lot of jobs where I had more dignity when I got fired and I wasn't working at all than I did when I was working that fucking piece of shit degenerate job. But this idea that working gives you dignity, it's like, no. If you're working and you're making some decent money and you're being compensated for your value, like, yeah, you might feel some dignity, you might feel some value, but most of the time work is this thing that is non-consensual. We're required to work to not die, but nobody wants to work. I would love to just get money and create art, and I would have plenty of dignity. I would have plenty of self-confidence, okay? I would have more self-confidence fucking having money and being able to create art and live the life I want to live than having to go do some degenerate fucking piece of shit job where I create value that somebody else takes, right? This whole idea that working gives you dignity, bullshit. Working steals your soul unless you're doing something that you love, that you value, that has personal meaning to you, right? Making this YouTube channel has value. It is valuable. I love this. This gives me dignity and all kinds of good shit. When I was a fucking bartender, that didn't give me shit. It didn't give me shit. There was no fucking dignity. I wasn't proud of myself because I was making $50 an hour. I was making $50 an hour and I was selling my fucking soul to do it. Okay? And meanwhile, the guys that I was making $50 an hour for, they were making $300 an hour. The owners, because of me, because of my productivity, was generating them $300 an hour, and I was making $50 an hour. And they weren't doing shit. They weren't even in the building, those motherfuckers. And that was not dignified. Okay? That made me feel like I was fucking owned and controlled and valueless. Okay? Made me feel like I was not worth as much as these lazy motherfuckers that weren't even in the building. And I had no choice because it's either that or die. So you, Ann Coulter, with your bullshit capitalist hand job about the dignity of work. Okay? Every one of us should be on UBI, and you should be able to opt out of the capitalist system if you don't want to be a part of that fucking piece of shit. Okay? If you want to live on your meager UBI in a trailer somewhere and just live lean and make art, you should be able to do that. All right? I am cooking because this shit is bullshit. It's a lie. They sell you this lie that if you go and give up your labor in order to create wealth for some other non-working person to just vacuum it out of you in exchange for the tiniest wage possible, that somehow you walk away from that feeling dignified. And man, dude, I get heated, bro, because it's not true. It is a lie. It is a fucking lie. All right. There we go. I've said my piece. I am cooking, baby.
The reason you want people to work isn't just because you want to save money for the government. It's for dignity and showing the next generation this is what you do. And,
Absolutely.
You see that? Showing the next generation that you're supposed to sign up for this fucking wage slavery as well, right? It's bullshit.
Fair.
What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.